Throughout history, first ladies have often been the true forces shaping American values, sometimes through charm and grace, and sometimes through shocking defiance of tradition. Here's how 10 women redefined American culture, and not always in the ways you'd expect. Number 1. Mary Todd Lincoln, elegance amid chaos or madness. When Abraham Lincoln entered the White House in 1861, his wife Mary Todd Lincoln immediately set about reshaping its social atmosphere even as the Civil War loomed. Insisting on lavish receptions, she introduced strict European-style rules of etiquette. Guests were expected to dress formally, avoid politics at parties, and observe rigid manners. Mary spent enormous sums, up to $20,000, redecorating the White House, drawing fierce criticism in the press. Some called her the Republican Queen, others accused her of madness, especially after the death of her young son Willie in 1862 sent her into prolonged mourning. Lincoln's aides privately complained that Mary's obsession with social standing distracted from war efforts. Nevertheless, she arguably helped protect the presidency's dignity at its most fragile moment. Was Mary a tragic figure fighting for honor, or an unstable woman blind to a nation's suffering? Number 2. Florence Harding, the First Lady who trusted the stars more than the Constitution. Florence Harding wielded stunning power behind the scenes of Warren G. Harding's disastrous presidency, 1921 to 1923. Fiercely ambitious, she was one of the first ladies to attend cabinet meetings, push key appointments, and advise on political strategy. But her secret consultations with Washington astrologer Madame Marcia created growing unease. Florence allegedly delayed the inauguration ceremony based on astrological advice and micromanaged Harding's schedule to ward off danger. After Harding's sudden death during a Western tour, officially blamed on a heart attack but clouded by theories of poisoning, Florence refused an autopsy and ordered the destruction of many presidential documents. To this day, some historians speculate she may have known more about the corruption and scandals, like Teapot Dome, engulfing Harding's administration than she ever admitted. Was Florence Harding a protective wife or a manipulator guarding dark secrets? Number 3. Nancy Reagan, astrology and the shadow presidency. After the 1981 assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan, Nancy Reagan secretly began consulting astrologer Joan Quigley, whose influence soon extended to nearly every aspect of the Reagan White House. Quigley's astrological charts dictated the president's travel, press conferences, and even the timing of surgeries. According to former Chief of Staff Donald Reagan, virtually every major move and decision the Reagans made was cleared in advance with a woman in San Francisco. Nancy's actions remained hidden until after Reagan's bitter resignation, when he exposed the practice in his memoir. Americans were stunned to learn that global events, including arms negotiations with the Soviet Union, might have been scheduled based on planetary alignments. Nancy defended herself, saying she was only trying to protect her husband. Yet critics cried national embarrassment. Did Nancy Reagan quietly save her husband, or undermine the credibility of the presidency itself? Number 4. Edith Wilson, America's first unelected president? When Woodrow Wilson suffered a near-fatal stroke in October 1919, the country was not informed of the full extent of his disability. Behind closed doors, his wife Edith Wilson essentially assumed control of the executive branch. For 17 months, she screened visitors, decided which documents Wilson would review, and, according to multiple accounts, made independent decisions on domestic and foreign policy. During this critical time, America was dealing with the aftermath of World War I and the controversial League of Nations Treaty. Edith described herself modestly as a steward, but historians argue she functioned as a de facto president, unelected, and accountable to no one but herself. Her concealment of Wilson's condition arguably violated constitutional principles, sparking debates that resonate even today about presidential succession and transparency. Number 5. Dolly Madison, the first great political manipulator. Dolly Madison was more than just the wife of James Madison, she was the original Washington power broker. As First Lady from 1809 to 1817, she transformed the White House into a salon of influence, where enemies became allies and political deals were sealed with a smile and a dance. Her legendary Wednesday night receptions were dubbed squeezes, as hundreds crammed into the White House, hoping to curry favor. Dolly's bold fashion, including daring low-cut gowns and colorful turbans, became iconic, even as conservative critics clutched their pearls. Her defining moment came during the War of 1812 when, as British troops approached Washington, she personally ordered the rescue of priceless treasures, including Gilbert Stuart's portrait of George Washington. Without firing a shot, Dolly redefined patriotism and feminine political power for a new republic. Number 6. Betty Ford, the First Lady who spoke forbidden truths. Betty Ford shattered every norm expected of a First Lady when she candidly discussed her breast cancer diagnosis in 1974, something many women still whispered about in shame. But Betty went further. She publicly supported the Equal Rights Amendment, spoke in favor of abortion rights, and admitted to both premarital sex and substance abuse. In 1975, during a 60 Minutes interview, Betty predicted her children probably had smoked marijuana, sparking national outrage. Yet polls soon showed most Americans admired her honesty. After her alcoholism and pill addiction spiraled following her time in the White House, she sought treatment and later founded the Betty Ford Center, revolutionizing addiction recovery in America. At a time when silence was the rule, Betty Ford made truth fashionable even when it was uncomfortable. Number 7. Hillary Clinton, the most polarizing First Lady in history. When Hillary Clinton entered the White House in 1993, she immediately broke tradition by taking a formal policy role, leading the effort to reform healthcare. Critics bristled at her secretive task force meetings and dubbed her co-president. Conspiracy theories flourished. Some accused her of pushing a socialist agenda, others whispered she was the real brain behind Bill Clinton's decisions. Hillary's famous retort, "I suppose I could have stayed home, baked cookies and had teas," further ignited conservative fury. Later scandals, from Travelgate to Whitewater, cemented her image as both a feminist trailblazer and a political lightning rod. Love her or hate her, Hillary Clinton changed forever the image of what a First Lady and a woman in power could be. Number 8. Michelle Obama, redefining health and sparking a cultural backlash. In 2010, Michelle Obama launched Let's Move, a national campaign to combat childhood obesity. It wasn't just about food, it was a full-scale cultural shift promoting exercise, healthy school lunches, and eliminating food deserts in low-income communities. But Michelle's efforts were not universally applauded. Conservatives accused her of government overreach, nanny statism, and elitism. Critics mocked the Obama lunches that replaced pizza and fries with quinoa and kale in schools, claiming children were going hungry. Meanwhile, Michelle's appearance on fashion covers and her embrace of pop culture made her a cultural icon and a lightning rod. In trying to promote healthier living, she ignited one of the fiercest debates about personal responsibility, government authority, and American identity. Number 9. Melania Trump, the enigmatic First Lady. Melania Trump was one of the most enigmatic First Ladies in history. She broke with tradition by delaying her move to the White House for 5 months after Donald Trump's inauguration officially to allow their son Barron to finish school, though rumors swirled about deeper tensions. Melania's apparent reluctance to play the traditional supportive spouse became meme-worthy as footage of her refusing handholding or flashing icy looks at Trump went viral. Her Be Best campaign against cyberbullying was ridiculed as hypocritical given her husband's Twitter behavior. Yet Melania remained largely silent, cultivating an image of aloof independence that both fascinated and frustrated critics. Was she quietly resisting or simply protecting herself? Number 10. Louisa Adams, the foreign First Lady America loves to hate. Born in England, Louisa Adams, wife of President John Quincy Adams, was America's first foreign-born First Lady. Despite her fluency in politics and music, she faced brutal xenophobia. Newspapers mocked her British accent, compared her to aristocratic tyrants, and accused her of un-American sympathies. Her lavish European manners made her an outcast in Washington society, despite her relentless efforts to promote American unity.